Okay, so we need to correct the orientation of the splat map on our new terrain. So the first thing that I'm going to do is hop over to Photoshop and open up the file. So I'm going to go File, Open, and the file is located under Standard Assets. If you remember, we created this Objects folder with our FBX file right here. It's under Terrain 1, and there's my Google Earth snapshot. And right now we're using that as our splat map. And because the splat map is being projected onto the terrain in a slightly different method, we need to flip it both horizontally and vertically. So I'm going to go to Image, Image Rotation, Flip Canvas, and Flip Canvas. And so now it is exactly mirrored. So I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm just going to call it Snapshot Splat. Save and OK. And now when I go back into Unity, it should actually update for me. It should have brought that in as an asset. If I look under my Objects, Terrain 1, you should see both Snapshot and Snapshot Splat. So I'm just going to replace one with the other. So with my terrain selected, I'm going to go to Edit Textures, and I'm going to replace this one with that. And I just did a quick drag and drop there. And now you can see it actually has that in the right direction. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and import a file that's on Unity's website. It's a really nice file for terrains. So I'm going to go back to Mozilla really quick here. On Unity's website, there's this great package called Terrain Assets. So from Unity, I can say Assets, Import Package, Custom Package. I save this directly to my desktop. I'm just going to click Terrain Assets and Open. And what's going to happen with this is going to bring in all of these files into my project. A lot of new texture maps, a lot of trees, rocks, some really nice things to be able to use on your site. It's a really good starting point. There's a lot of things that you can purchase on Unity's website. There's a lot of assets that you can find online for free. But for a basic site, this is just a great starting point. So once that's finished loading, I can go to my trees, edit tree, add a tree, click on my radio button, and what we had before was just the standard palm tree, and now we have a whole series of trees that we can add, such as this really cool willow tree. So I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to say add. And again, if I want to place a specific tree, I'm going to take my brush size down to 1, my tree density up to 100, and I'm going to place a willow tree right there on site. By the same token, now that this is an editable terrain, unlike this one, which I cannot place a tree on at all, if I wanted to, I could also come back in and repaint portions of the terrain to have a new height. Let's see if I can actually get that to work. Oh, I was smoothing there. Wrong tool. You can smooth things if you want to, but you can also come in and paint new heights on your terrain. And if you notice, it's taking it up to the maximum terrain height of 14 meters. I can add in more textures that I can paint over the top of. I can say edit texture, add a texture, and I could do a grass and rock ground cover, add, and now this gives me the opportunity to say scruff up the field here just a little bit. Oh, I need to be painting the correct map. Do something like that. So this is now a fully functioning terrain that will work really well for me. The last thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and take my first-person controller camera and let's move it over to the new terrain. make sure that I'm up above the terrain, hit play, and you should notice that that is ready to go.